Yo, what's going on, beautiful people? We are back with another episode of Respect the Game podcast. Thank y'all for coming back, listening to us. If we have any new listeners out there, thank y'all for giving us a chance. Respect the Game podcast. It is not about one specific game. It is about whatever game you are using in life to get ahead. So that could be basketball, that could be hopscotch, that could be the game of chess, that could be the game of law and order. You could be an attorney. We're gonna get there. We're gonna talk about that here and there. It could be any type of sport. It could be any type of field. It definitely could be faith. It can definitely be life. So our conversations, you may be mad with the conversations we have. You may disagree, agree, but at the end of the day, when the episode is done, we promise you that you are going to respect whatever game that is you're trying to get ahead in life, or whatever game you really didn't know about, but it is out there. So without further ado, my name is Edward. Beautiful, brilliant decision by my mother to name me that after my father, who is a great man. And if you're on this, and while you're listening to this, please stop what you're doing and go to @EMACStats on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What is that? Spotify, Anchor. Follow @EMACStats wherever there's a social media platform, so you can get all the up-to-date coverage, whether that's at the high school level for sports, at the college level for sports, or at the professional level for sports. And so, like I said, my name is Edward, but my nickname is Nathan, and that is because I am Nathaniel without my brethren on here. So, as always, without further ado, without me, there's no them. Or without them, there is no me on this podcast. So introduce yourself to the people, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, come on, man. Shine hard is all charismatic, good excellence at its finest, giving you any and everything under the sun, man. Just get it.
Be sure to check out Talking Smoke on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Keep it moving.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Johnson. If I don't sound right, it's because I'm a little under the weather right now, but I am the husband of Jordan and the father of Harper and Deuce. I'm here to bring the controversy to help you think a little deeper about things that are going on and help you see the game a little bit better.
Good evening, beautiful people. It is the one and only Sedacious Xavier Miles. And on behalf of me and my brothers, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Please continue to tune in. We love you. Take it away, Edward.
So, ladies and gentlemen, real quick rundown of the show. We're going to get into some HBCU football. We're going to talk about Derrick Jaxn. We're going to talk about the Lakers. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson. We're going to talk about the Houston Rockets. And I'm pretty sure from that, we're going to get into other topics and other conversations because we are all brilliant minds on this podcast. But this week, I know it's been 2 weeks since we've been at full strength on the podcast. All 5 of us are finally back on the podcast. So you get to get all of us at one time, finally. Pause.
Don't pause that.
But
that's what she said.
I like. All right, before we get to that, we're gonna have distinguish between our pauses and that's what I'm gonna go with. That's what she said. Christian is like, I don't want to be a part of this.
You guys are too much for me.
Hey, but yo, man, this episode is very, very special, right? And so this is episode 23, I believe, that we're on. But the reason this episode is special is because it is not about the Respect the Game podcast. It is solely about Talking Smoke and that podcast. That is the sister podcast or the other brother podcast of Respect the Game. And so the reason we're going to big up the Talking Smoke podcast right now, that is solely hosted and ran by our brother Black Peace, is that Black Peace Talking Smoke podcast, ladies and gentlemen, has reached a milestone of 50 episodes. Hey, baby, let's go. Yo, man, I'm super proud of you, Black Peace, my brother. I respect your grind. I respect your hard work. I respect the fact that you've been consistent. And not only have you been a podcaster, you've definitely been a husband, and you've definitely been a supreme father. So I know that balance isn't easy. I know I'm always staying on you and trying to make sure you focus and you putting out your episodes. That's only
You do
because I
that.
know that's only because I know you great, my brother. Like all of us on this podcast, and like I always say, man, my success, your success is my happiness, my brother. So triple salute on 50 episodes, and not only do you have 50 episodes, but you have over 7 hours of content out there for the people to go listen to.
Yeah.
So when you leave this podcast, as a matter of fact, you can leave this podcast right now. Just make sure you come back. Go check out the Talking Smoke podcast, over 50 episodes and over 7 hours of content for you to listen to and get great perspectives on the hip hop rap culture from our brother, Black Peace. Proud of you again and happy for you again, my brother.
Appreciate that, man. I got a few hot episodes coming out. Just to let you know, it's not easy, like you said earlier. And I mean, it does take a bit of focus. It's gonna be I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, but I know everything isn't perfect. So I battle with that from time to time to where, I mean, it's gonna be times where I'm gonna kind of get in slumps, but at the end of the day, it's to put out as top-notch content as I can. So I appreciate the support, and I'm gonna keep working hard for y'all, man. And I appreciate all the support from any and everybody. You know, one love.
All right, man. Respect that, man. On the road to 100. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. Up first on the rundown, man, we're going to get into some HBCU football. So this past weekend, Alabama State, excuse me, people. Alabama State beat Jackson State 35-28. And so, Coach Johnson, I know you wanted to touch on some things. I know we was talking about the Deion Sanders post-game interview. I'll leave some meat on the bone for you to talk about that. But I definitely want to big up. I definitely want to big up and salute Ezra Gray from Alabama State. That's the running back, 195 yards in that game against Jackson State. And he had 3 touchdowns. I think it is imperative to lift up that young man and give him his shine, because I know with all the spotlight being on Jackson State, the media crew can just be wrapped up in the fact that they lost and not actually give other teams their just due and being able to beat Jackson State. So talking about HBCU football, Ezra Gray, number 20, again, 195 yards, rushing yards, and three tubs in that game. Salute to your player. I'm happy for you, and I think his performance should be motivation for any other players out there who are licking their chops at Jackson State and are going to be able to get put on ESPN2 or ESPN or whatever the case may be. So when Jackson State is coming to your city, if you haven't yet to be on ESPN or had some type of platform with your football games, when Jackson State comes to your city, it is time for you to put on. And Ezra Gray definitely did that. And salute to Alabama State's defensive coordinator, because they definitely wasn't going with the foolishness. They was making Jackson State earn it. But what you got on there, Christian?
Yeah, man, you touched on it well. It's funny too, because when we were watching the game, we both admitted to each other that we were rooting for Jackson State to lose. But the reason why, at least for me, why I was doing that is because there was a lot of hype around how good they were, right? But when in all actuality, their team right now is really not that good. The talent there is not that great, even compared to the talent that's in other schools inside the SWAC. But man, Coach Prime can coach his behind off. Like I said when we first talked about this on the podcast, he is a great coach. There's a reason why he's, coaching at that level. I really don't know how long he's going to be there, because people are going to see, if he leaves, right? I would say when he leaves, because somebody's going to offer him some money to go somewhere else. They're going to see like, oh snap, the program was terrible. So go ahead, bro.
I mean, I was gonna throw a question at you. You said when he leave. I mean, he just got there. Like, obviously, but only 3 or 4 games in. Like, you don't think he's gonna commit to the long-term rebuilding of Jackson State if the right offer comes through?
I mean, he might, but I'm just saying, like, okay, so let's say he's there for 3 years, right? Let's say he's there for 3 years. Now I don't know necessarily the history of Jackson State football, as far as team wide, how well they've done as a team. Let's say he takes them and they win a FCS national championship, right? Or they're, close. You don't think somebody gonna call? You don't think maybe a lower level Big Ten, a lower level SEC, lower level ACC schools gonna call and say, "Hey, Prime, can you come do that here?" Florida State having troubles right now. You don't think Florida State might call? You know what I'm saying? If that happens, sure, Prime, wants to rebuild Jackson State, wants to see them do well, right? I'm not sure if Florida State come calling and saying, "Hey, you can coach at your alma mater." And you can bring Florida State back to the days when the glory days of Bobby Bowden. You don't think he's gonna say, "Well, shoot, hey, yeah, let me go do that." You know what I'm saying? And he may not. But if he does again, the talent, and he's admitted it. He's like, "Hey, y'all better get me now before all the horses come in." They don't have as much talent as everybody else in the SWAC right now. And when they were winning those games, I could clearly see that. I'm like, the talent's not there. The quarterback, not that good, right? Their line's not great. Their defense not great, right? They're pretty nice on the outside on both offense and defense. But even their fastest player on offense, the boy can't catch. I mean, bro, there's a lot there that's like, man, the talent is not there, but they're coached so well, and they find ways to win because they're coached so well. And so because of that, I'm saying, like, other schools are going to be able to see that, and they're going to start throwing a lot of cash his way. Now he's not in need of money, but at some point he's going to want that challenge. Hey, yeah, I can go and create, and build a program here, bam. But then I could be considered one of the best coaches, in all of college football. I can go up against Dabo Swinney every year. I can go up against the Nick Sabans and really have a chance to win. And I mean, I don't know, man. If that opportunity comes and Florida State comes calling, I don't know if he's going to stay there. It'll be great if he does, but I don't know, man. So.
I got you. I definitely know your pops would definitely have something to say about that.
He probably would, man. But I'm saying, anybody in that situation. Anybody in that situation.
I don't.
Coach, did your dad go to Jackson State?
No, he went to Southern. But he's a big fan of HBCU colleges, period.
Yeah, my dad went to Jackson State, actually, man.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I love to see him getting better, but and I loved his post game interview, his post game deal. He talked about how this is a great test for them. How as a unit, they get to now respond back. He liked the way that they fought in the game, which was great. He didn't really have anything to say about the petty stuff that was happening on the Alabama State side after the game, right? He was like, "Hey, look, he's here to play. It's not about him. It's about the kids." I mean, man, Deion is a coach, bro. Like, he is a coach for real. And I think he's have success wherever he goes. If he decides to stay at Jackson State and have an Eddie Robinson type career, that will be wonderful. That'll be wonderful for Black coaches. That'll be wonderful for Black colleges. I just don't know.
You think he's gonna be out there if he get the right?
I'm really, actually, to be honest with you, I'm not even saying anything about him or what I think he would do. I'm saying, if I was in his shoes and my alma mater came calling and like, "Hey, you can bring us back to the glory days," Yes, I will go take that, bro.
Oh yeah, I know, boy. I'm definitely gonna cut that and send that to your dad. He about to be on your ass. Full of shit, you goddamn black sheep. You better be lucky you gave me hope, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Shout out to Mr. Johnson, man. Shout out to Mr. Johnson. But moving on, man. Moving on off of that. So Sedacious. First it was Myers Leonard, right? Council culture. Then last week, council culture with Kurt Franklin. And now, me and you was Isaac rather. We kind of know about the Derrick Jaxn guy, and I know you were saying that back in the day, one of your old girls, you know, they would like post his relationship advice. And for some people who may not know, Derrick Jaxn, I don't know for him to have any sort of like marriage counsel or relationship counseling license. He's just a guy who posts up, I guess, in his car or at his home or whatever the case may be, and give relationship advice. And mainly, and like when I've seen clips of him giving advice, is more so slandering any man who's ever cheated.
Man, boy, you better
he's
he's
slander any man who's ever cheated and encourage women religiously to leave that man who's cheated on them because they are worth so much more and they do not need that cheating man. So as life would have it, Derrick Jaxn recently came out. Now, and mind you, right, I'm gonna just say this and try to build it up a little bit more and like oop it to you, Isaac. In him making all these relationship, giving all these relationship advice, I think dude got like over 700,000 plus subscribers on YouTube and how many other followers on social media. And all this advice, you've never seen his wife or his lady at the time or whatever, however long he been doing this. But now that he's cheated and got caught in some mess, now all of a sudden we see him being represented alongside with his wife. And so for me, I'm kind of just been like, bro, like we ain't never seen her before. Like, so don't try to bring her to the forefront in the midst of your mess. But I don't know if you've seen the full video, Isaac. I watched it today. It was I rebuttal, bro, but that's the premise of what's going on. I'll probably rebuttal on your thoughts about it, bro. You got it.
Man, so let's dive into it, right? So this guy, first off, man, oh, how the mighty has fallen. You simp ass nigga, like, bro, if simping at his finest was a phrase, you would find him at the foresight of a picture that is depicting such phrase. Like, first off, bro, I in my opinion, what it sounds like is it sounds like the guy who never was able to get, excuse the listeners out there and our younger women listeners that maybe adhering, but I don't condone this language, so I'm speaking with colloquialism as I say this. He probably didn't get pussy like that at a young age, right? So he had to resort to other methods in which to, come about that, right? So one of these methods, unfortunately, is talking down upon your own gender, right? And at that, you being a black man, with a predominantly, black woman-based audience, so it's almost as if you're, belittling the black man at your own leisure in order to kind of promote your own self-righteousness, right? So it just really reeks of a self-righteous wannabe fucking counselor lover boy who done got caught up in basically not walking what he preaches, right? So it almost comes across, well, not even almost, right? It comes across as extremely hypocritical. And then for you to now, like you stated, for him to bring his wife to the forefront, to which we have not known what this woman has even looked like for years. But you saw it very fitting for, you to bring your wife out of the rebellious hedges of darkness into the righteous light and show her off now to the world, which I believe is just a load of bullshit. And if his wife is as smart as I think she is, she would take her husband's advice And leave the bitch. Leave that nigga, man. Because I saw a meme going around. You know, it's a meme where they got Scooby-Doo's counterpart. I believe his name's what's the guy named Fred?
Is it Shaq? Oh, I was about to say
Fred.
Shaq.
No. Fred
Okay,
is the
Fred.
guy who digs Daphne, right? Fred and Daphne, right? So it's a meme of Fred, you know, taking the mask off of the villain, and so he has Future captured Fred from the Scooby-Doo show, and when he takes off Future's mask, it's actually Derrick Jaxn. Because it's like, bro, you know right from wrong. It is very evident that you know exactly what to do and what not to do. You've been giving advice for years on this. So you've quite literally been manipulating the system for Lord knows how long in order to get pussy behind the scenes, talking down on your fellow black man. And the whole time, you ain't even walking how you talking, thug. So, yeah, you know. Man, it always comes to the light, man, eventually.
Castle.
I was you good, Isaac? Can I go?
All right, go ahead.
All right, so I watched the video and like his wife coming to the forefront was, as they had it in the video, it was her idea, and they're trying to go about this in the way of trying to bless others and help others overcome infidelity in their marriage or their relationships. So that was their reasoning behind doing it. I will say, me personally,
ass all day, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
All
she
day,
was like
all
mad
day.
as hell in that pod.
All day.
Extreme.
Me personally, Isaac, I don't think that would have ever came to the forefront if whoever he was messing with did get exposed. I don't think I don't think he was gonna ever do that willingly. I think had it stayed behind closed doors, he was gonna keep it like that, and we would have never known about it. But
exactly.
whoever he was messing with, some kind of way, interview here, interview there, it got out, and they tried, want to come out with it. I mean, he didn't run from it in no way, shape. He was like, I did what I did. He did have a crazy bar where he was just like, I gave my life to Christ, and then my life started falling apart, and I just was all over the place. And I so like,
I ain't gonna lie to you, but I feel him from the standpoint of he probably didn't articulate that well, but being a Christian, Christianity ain't the easiest thing, man. You got to bear your cross like Christ did. So people, for all our beginner faith, or baby faithers out there, if you just, starting out your walk with Christ, you go endure some shit, man. It ain't easy, right? But it gets easier as time goes on because you learn to lean on God and his word, and you get more faithful and rooted in it, right? So, but yeah, I ain't trying to hijack it. Yeah. Nigga was on some fuck shit, dog. He was. I'm just calling space.
Shit on his whole life,
but my thing is, bro, why you? Oh man, the self-righteous alter ego he had going, boy. You damn near had me fooled. Cause a young lady who I was involved with some years back, would post a lot of his videos and shit like that, and I just be like, bro, who the fuck is this dude? Talking damn near talking down to me, bro. Like, I ain't human and we don't make mistakes, right? But it's just it's crazy to me, man.
So what we do is, if you are someone who just mind your business, just stay in your own lane, and you get caught, then you know what I'm saying, we let you live, my nigga.
Yeah, we let you slide. I ain't gonna lie, we don't.
You out here really bumping about, man. Oh, all the niggas that cheat, cut him.
Brother, then, I hope she served you the divorce papers after this.
You think you get to tell us something about something after that?
Isaac, so more. Hold on, real before I go, Darnell. Did you want to add on? I see.
I was saying his wording was horrible. You came to Christ and your life crumbles. That is horrible wording.
No, I feel where Isaac coming from.
I feel where he coming from, but it's horrible wording.
Yeah, definitely. But so Isaac.
No, I understand your perspective, Isaac. I'm just saying the way that the guy portrayed it. Horrid.
So
I agree with that horrible wording.
So all of this transpired, I guess, the infidelity or whatever, peak of pandemic. So she moved out, she moved on, she gave him the divorce papers, filed for divorce, and the whole shebang dang diggy. And I mean, in their words, it was through allowing God to work on them. They were able to get back and reunite and keep building and move on from that and try to help use their situation to help others. So
okay, so let me get it right. So they were going to get a divorce, and the infidelity happened in the process of them still kind of being together.
I don't know specifically, but the leading up to the divorce, the infidelity had been going on. I don't think it was a one-time situation. It was a multitude.
So yeah, he's like a habitual cheater and finesser manipulator. Like,
oh my God, this nigga habitual.
He's a habitual hypocrite too.
Habitual
there's a
hypocrite.
disturbing
And
pattern.
again, this is not a sad session on this black king. I don't want this to be that, but I do want him to get some of that medicine he's been giving out, because it has been coming from a pretty genuine place, as we see. But I don't want to judge a man on his merits and his mistakes. I do want to judge him on how he come. It ain't how you fall. It's definitely how you get back up and shake yourself off. So I'm not rooting for his downfall, but I do want him to learn.
It's not to say that none of his teachings were not right.
Because I think
it's to say that some of his teachings were judgmental. And it's like, when it comes out that you're not practicing what you're preaching, how could you have been so judgmental, bro?
And I believe that God could have quite literally just been exposing this, right? Like, you want to be this beacon of hope for relationships, and your relationship itself is faltering due to the same things you're preaching against, right? So you need to be out in the open. As you chastise out in the open, your shit needs to be brought to the light. And I think that's just, God got a way of, man. Hey.
What you was gonna say, Darnell?
So he ain't a hippo. He a whole hypocrite.
Right.
He didn't cheat one time, which is that experimental idea. He turned into a. See, this is a big difference. I was just talking to my girl about that. I feel like
now, one time I could see, like,
wow,
if it was one instance, and because from what I gathered from the live stream, not only was it the physical interactions with women, but it was also I guess the intimate interactions of phone calls or unassuming things that maybe other, people within relationships may not find, under the umbrella of cheating, but it could be interpreted as that because you're entertaining someone on an intimate level, to which probably should be exclusive to your wife.
Right.
But
it's an insult.
Pride coming before the fall, man. Pride definitely coming before the fall. I believe, humility. I hope humility sets upon him. He sounds like a Christian man. So, like I said, I don't want to bash, bro, and I don't wish ill upon him. If that's God's will for their relationship to go forth, and God is within that union, I pray they can get past that and move forward in peace, in black peace. Actually, shout out to my boy. But yeah, man.
That was a hard ass alley. That was a hard ass lob.
Oh, you know me, man. I'm CP3 with this shit.
Hey, did you want to close that off, Darnell?
Well, I just wanted to kind of just throw in a little bit of it wouldn't have been as bad if you would have done one of those. Because I personally had this experience in my life where I experimented. I've seen from the side, didn't understand it, experimented, it is what it is, and it wasn't for me. And it's one of the things where he just didn't say, okay, I got a little slightly entangled. This man had a whole relationship. He had a whole ordeal. You know what I'm saying? I look at it as there's okay, you tried something, and then there you just don't give a fuck.
I can see one
he just didn't give no fucks at all.
You know what I'm saying? I get that. Any man can fall on any given Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I get that. Even David fell, and he was a great man. So I get that. Any man can fall to temptation. But if you are having relationships outside of your marriage and entertaining multiple women and having sex with them, you a dog ass nigga, bro. Welcome to the fucking club. Yeah.
You're not even a hippo, a whole hippo.
Not to say that I'm in that club. Anybody.
But welcome to
Isaac,
to help Isaac, he was saying, welcome to the club that you've been shaming.
Okay.
Right, exactly. Welcome to the club that you've been shaming. Right. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. my boy not in that club, but yeah, man. Hey, yeah, now moving on, man. Moving on off of that, man. Shoot, man, these Lakers, I don't know what the score ended up being. but I know they lost pretty. Yeah, they got watched
by
pretty
30
damn
plus.
by 30 plus against the
Pelicans.
I was about to say Hornets, Pelicans. I went old school for a second, but yeah, man, they just lost to the Pelicans, 128 to 111. And I believe
Okay, so they did touch between 30. They narrowed. So it was 17, but still a loss.
And so right now, obviously, right now, LeBron James just went out high ankle sprain, and Anthony Davis has been out with I believe a calf strain of some sort. So LeBron went out March 20th against the Atlanta Hawks, and when LeBron went out, since that Atlanta Hawks game, the Lakers were number 3 in the conference, and they were only, I want to say, 2.5 games back from number 1. Since that Hawks game where LeBron had went down, they played against the Suns, and tonight they played against the Pelicans, and down they are 0-2, right? So they lost against the Suns 111, and they 111 to 94, and now they just lost to the Pelicans 128 to 111. We in March. There's no timetable on when LeBron is coming back. There's no timetable on when Anthony Davis is coming back. And as we see through a 2-game sample without LeBron and without AD, the Lakers look poo cheese. So Sedacious or Isaac, whichever one or y'all want to take the tea on that, like how much of a cause for concern is this? And hold on, I'll take that question back. How soon does LeBron and AD need to come back for like there to still be championship like aspirations, or like or it'd be more realistic for them to make that championship run? Because we know how tight the West can be and how you can easily go from 3 to 6 or 7. So like, yeah.
As far as them keeping a high enough seed to where they don't have to play into the play-in tournament, which Adam Silver has kind of implemented these last couple of years, I think it is a definite cause for concern, right? Because there's no real timetable on LeBron, but I think it can kind of be a blessing in disguise, right? Because the quick turnaround that these guys have had due to the deep postseason run prior to. So, this is to be expected, in my opinion. I wasn't. Go ahead, E.
Oh no! When LeBron had went down, my initial thought was like, "Oh, like you just said, like, oh, that's a blessing in disguise. He get that rest he need, right?" But like, I think not having everybody that you had last year, and with certain pieces that moved around and so on and so forth, like, while it could look like a blessing in disguise due to rest for like your key star players, like you want to talk about like
be a plague in plain sight
because like
a lot of the playoffs.
That, or like everybody says, you want to be playing your best basketball going into the playoffs, not trying to get your guys back, trying to like get that rhythm,
the chemistry back rolling, right? So I think LeBron needs to. I think he needs to have one of those superhero Herculean, recovery efforts to where he need to be back like, yesterday type vibe. It really, because the West is, like you said, man, the West is a fucking gauntlet, man. So, and it hasn't gotten any easier, though the Rockets are a flaming heap of hot garbage. We'll get to that, a little later. But, yeah, man, like the West is very tightly and closely contested. So, man, you lose 3-4 straight, you start looking around like, damn, man, we floating around 5-6 seed, and then, Lord forbid you drop some more, you fucking around, you gotta go in for the play-in tournament, so they definitely need to be, on concern, and everybody needs to be, held accountable and be trying to play at their highest level right now. Go ahead.
I know you just mentioned the play-in tournament. To my understanding, I thought that was just something implemented for the bubble. So is that a new thing continuing on past the bubble, Isaac?
From how I've been hearing it talked about, I think there may be something going forward due to the shortened season, right? So because they're playing 70-something odd games, right? I think they're still doing the format of the play-in, right? So those last few games will determine, who will be able to, get those last seeded spots. So I think it's, like I said, man, I think it's pretty pivotal, man. I think it's definitely pretty pivotal.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's cause for concern, major cause for concern. I think it's gonna go to the Nets this year. I'm not gonna lie to you. It says that LeBron they said LeBron is out indefinitely, and just the chemistry of the Lakers without LeBron was always gonna be out of whack if you take LeBron out. You know what I'm saying? You can put AD in, and they still won't beat New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Brooklyn. My bad, Brooklyn. They still won't beat Brooklyn. So, I mean, yeah, season's over in my opinion. I just got to find a good enough team in the West to ride with to go up against the juggernaut coming out East. And, yeah, at the beginning of the season, I said Lakers, Nets. Now it's like whoever could, survive out the West going up against the Nets. And the Nets will probably take it. No bullshit.
So a quick rundown of like their schedule, just I guess the next few couple of games that they got coming up. So they play the Sixers, who I believe is number 1 in the East. They play the Sixers tomorrow. I'm lying, they play them Thursday. Then they play the Cavs, then they got the Magic, then they got the Bucks, then they got the Kings, then they got the Clippers, they have the Kings top of April, as well as the Clippers, then the Raptors and the Heat. So I mean, they don't have gimme games. I mean, maybe they could squeeze out a few of them games.
Man, that's looking tough.
Hey, yo, Edward.
It's looking tough.
They are having the play-in tournament from May 18th through to May 21st.
That's what I knew. So look out. The Lakers could very well be a participant in that if Lebanon James of the James clan is not making swift return.
With that being said, how many weeks is he supposed to be out?
It's undecided right now.
With that being said, if he has a chance to make it to those play-in games and they are qualified for it, if it gets to that bad, that's the right amount of stuff to get them jump-started for the playoffs with the right person. So if that happens and they fall into that play-in scenario, they have a very good chance of like making it work.
I think anybody in their mama would take LeBron in a play-in game.
The play-in will get them back into the groove.
I mean,
not to have potential, but it'll get them back.
And whoever the number 1 seed is, granted, if that's the Utah Jazz, I like that first round. If the Lakers
take it, Isaac.
I'm putting my money on LeBron, and you
definitely.
are damn fool if you don't either.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely take that matchup too.
Especially if he bad.
Also, staying in the Western Conference, right? A team that likely will not have a play-in game will be the Houston Rockets. So the Rockets, before yesterday, before going on a 20-game losing streak, I didn't believe it. I literally had to go and count the games. The Houston Rockets' last win before a 20-game losing streak was February 4th. Shout out to my grandmother. That's her birthday. Since that time, they won against the Memphis Grizzlies. And after that, since that time, right, they've had DeMarcus Cousins. He's gone. Victor Oladipo is still there. I think, I guess their most recent loss was PJ Tucker. But yeah, their last win before their 20-game winning streak was in February, and now the Rockets have now made it. I wouldn't even say back on top, but they finally got a win now on March the 22nd against the Toronto Raptors. Isaac definitely called big time Christian Wood's impact for the Rockets way early in the season. Christian Wood went preseason. Christian Wood had got hurt. He was hurt most of that 20-game losing streak.
He was.
And before that, before he got hurt, they were balling. He was a pivotal centerpiece of their success. And so yeah, man. I mean, like, what are we doing with the Rockets? Like Darnell, like, you bleed Rocket Red. Like, how do you feel about them finally winning? And like, what's going on with them, bro?
This is rebuild time, man. What's up?
Well, I was gonna add one thing. You just said it. It's rebuild time. Rockets fans, don't be surprised if Ed Gordon, I think it's coming.
Oh
But
yeah, man. We've actually probably had the longest streak of being in the playoffs, or really even contending to a somewhat of a ability. Probably like one of the best franchises next to. We probably have the best franchise record of getting to the playoffs without winning a championship ever, probably. To be honest with you, like usually teams make it to the finals by this time. We had our chance, but we're not going to dip into that.
We did
definitely
back to 94, 95 in our defense.
No, I'm saying since then, we have always contended. Right. We probably had, I think, maybe 3 seasons in total where we kind of just fell off. But other than that, every season we have put in work. We have contended. We have made the playoffs. We made it close to 500, if not over 500. So, I mean, it's about that time. You know, we take the low route. You know, we sit back, make some picks, make some trades. You know, just rebuild, recover. You know, we've been having our heart broken so many times. We've gotten so close so many times. It's about time for us to break it on down and build it back on up.
Another question within the Rockets' current situation. So, right, head coach for the first time, Stephen Silas, been coaching in the NBA, if not 20 years exactly, at least 20 plus years, as an assistant. And now he's got his first head coaching opportunity. And in the NBA, it's a business. They don't really, a lot of times they could care less about your circumstances. They only care about the W column, right? And most of the time in these situations, the conversation goes to black coaches are not being given the same opportunities as like the white coaches in the NBA, in the sense that, oh man, you look across the way in Brooklyn, Steve Nash ain't never coached a day in his life, and he get the fucking basketball guys gave him a mean package, right? Then you look at somebody like Stephen Silas, a black coach, and here he is, a rebuilding season, general manager gone. You got all these guys who are coming back from injury trying to prove themselves. I mean, like, a 20-game losing streak is like tough to like come past. But like, I mean, is that worth the conversation to have? Is like, why are black coaches in the NBA, and maybe not just the NBA, in turn, any professional sport, like, why are they not given the same, being put in these perfectly placed coaching situations?
I think it's just a testament to maybe the mantra that's still put on black coaches, that maybe that they're not elite leaders of men, and maybe they aren't deserving of those premium jobs, though we know that they are. One good case in point will be back in the Gap, where Dwayne Casey, was leading that Raptors team all that year. And, the minute he decides to take more money, I believe with the Pistons job at the time, he, that's the offseason that they end up getting Kawhi. And, the rest is history, right? So it's, I think it's been seen throughout the complexity or the complexion of sports altogether, right? That the black man doesn't really get that premium job to where it's a contender, led franchise maybe. But, hopefully we can make some strides. I don't know what needs to happen, but hopefully, they can start getting some of those more heralded, coaching positions within the, realm of mainstream sports.
Go Black Peace.
I totally disagree. I don't think it has nothing to do with race, because 9 times out of 10, these players are choosing to leave, or not even the players, but their moves are getting like decided past the coaching. It's a prime example with the Toronto Raptors. The Toronto Raptors couldn't get past the LeBron wall. The owner got tired of it. My colleague Emax Stacks will tell you any kind of day they could not get past LeBron when LeBron was in the East. So how would you feel as an owner? Whatever. Come on now. How would you feel if you really have this perfect team, you can't get past this one wall, something's got to go? And he made that team decided, it's the coach and our main star. soon as they moved both of them, they win a championship. Same thing with the whole Rockets thing. The Rockets, that wasn't had nothing to do with necessarily with race. They had plans on him taking that team to where they wanted to be, but James Harden didn't want to stay there. PJ Tucker didn't want to stay there. The players that made the team just wasn't happy. And black coaches get a lot of opportunities. Who was it? Tony Dungy.
Well,
Tony Dungy got carried, practically to a championship. Got given a championship technically. Yeah, he coached his defense, but at the end of the day, come on now. Peyton definitely did this.
To preface my statement before you attack it, to kind of preface my statement a little bit more, I was more so speaking towards the overall landscape of sports, not necessarily predicated or still more towards the NBA. But if you look at the landscape of sports, it's not often. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not often that the black man gets that that premium franchise coaching position. It does happen.
Doc Rivers.
It has happened.
Doc Rivers.
Again, that's a rare example. You can't really name other coaches that have.
Caldwell.
Again, you had to name a whole nother sport, and again, you said the Colts. Tony Dungy does not coach the Colts anymore. Again, that is history. So again,
Caldwell.
It just isn't coming.
A little bit.
You're making my point. It just isn't coming. Go ahead, Coach. My fault.
Can I interject you right? So obviously I do agree with Darnell. But I think something that one we got to ask ourselves, okay, how many of those premium jobs are there, right? Right. Do you just ask yourself in the NFL or the NBA, how many of those premium jobs are there where there's a consistent winner as far as a franchise that's always consistently going, right? There's like 2 or 3, right? Maybe 5. They're like, okay, hey, these organizations are always put together, right? Now, as far as the NFL is concerned right now, right? Mike Tomlin has been with the NFL franchise, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers over the last
like 10 plus, maybe?
They've had like 3 coaches, right? So he's with the Steelers, right? Brian Flores walked into a crappy situation, but he's with a GM that knows what he's doing, and because of that, he's getting premium players in there to match his system. He's going to be a great coach for a long time, right? So when we say like, okay, it's rare that black coaches get those opportunities, it's rare that any coach gets those opportunities because there aren't that many franchises that are always consistently at the top, that are always like that. But this before you go real quick, hey, do not say that Tony Dungy got carried to a Super Bowl, bruh. Okay,
50-50.
Listen.
Stay on topic.
Tony Dungy carried the Buccaneers to hand it off to John Gruden, and then he built up the Colts to what they are. Yes, he had a great quarterback, but we've seen great quarterbacks get nothing out of their coaches, right? Case in point, Aaron Rodgers, who carried his coach, obviously. So
and to full circle, I think a lot of people may have gotten it re-amped up about the whole black coaches don't get good opportunities because of the whole Golden State situation. People feel like Jaxn was robbed. And at the end of the day, Jaxn couldn't get the job done. He didn't have the right tools. Compare him to Steve Kerr. Yes, Steve Kerr doesn't have coaching experience, but he sat next to the coach more than anybody else. He had more knowledge from championship coaches. So with that being said, I think a lot of those situations come from situations of that nature where the black coach does have a setup team and is pawned off to the other type of coach. And it seems like, oh, it's because of race. It's like, no, he just couldn't get the job done.
Hold on. Repeat like some of that opening statement that you just said about Mark Jaxn.
That Mark Jaxn couldn't get the job done. Because you look at that team, there was hardly any tweaks when it came down to that team when he was there and when he left. Yes, they were good. Yes, they were great. They had all the talent in the world, but they needed just a little more direction to where coaching was maybe the issue. It's highly debatable, but it's people tend to blame Mark Jackson. He was robbed.
I think when they got rid of Mark Jaxn, I think that team, you maybe as a core, but I don't think that bench was how it was as the championship benches as the championship bench was. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know if Iguodala was there, and I
was
don't.
thinking that.
And with Steph and Clay, like I don't think that was like because Mark Jackson himself called them the greatest shooting backcourt known to man before we all saw it. So I feel like because he had that foresight, he knew what he had. And I don't think they had necessarily like reached that peak of like Curry being a MVP and being the face of the league, and like Clay hadn't like fully turned that corner. So I mean, I think had he been given the time, I think we could have seen the same success as we've seen with Stephen Kerr, but highly debatable. Because he had them early. So he's been cultivating that talent and building that structure, and then be like, all right, thank you, Jaxn. Here you go, Kerr. Highly debatable.
Maybe also it's but like I said, he's had a decent team, which I feel like Live can credit to. Golden State had a decent enough team to where it's like he's got tired of waiting. It's like, okay, dude, like you guys are good. How long y'all gonna keep getting good and better? Like y'all should have been higher at a certain point. Like y'all should not have been low as y'all have been for so many years. Like y'all just now getting to the point where y'all great. Okay, something's wrong with this. I need somebody to fast forward the process.
And one could argue too, like you have to also pay attention to like the teams that were in the West at that time too. You know what I mean? Because like while they was coming up, like Kobe was still in the league, or like I mean, you know what I'm saying, like those Lakers teams.
Wasn't a competing Laker team at the time.
I would have to go back and look at the years, but I mean, you got OKC. I mean, like a young OKC, James, like you know what I'm saying. So,
yeah, that was the thing. Like they had teams where they felt like they were talented, but they were still beatable, and they felt like, Jaxn, what are you doing? You can beat this team. Stop playing around. And they felt like need somebody better that knows about winning championships. That's what they did. But people often, to scroll circle, people often tend to blame it on race, and it's like, bro, he just couldn't get it done the way they need him to. It seems like he was set up, but sucks.
Yeah, I will always say this. We can move on if y'all have nothing else to add. But to any basketball head out there, I don't care what nobody say besides Mark Jackson. Sedacious Xavier Miles was playing MVP basketball with Stephen Curry before Stephen Curry was playing MVP basketball. And on 2K, Sedacious Xavier Miles knew what was coming light years before any of us saw it. And even more so, was heartbroken because Sedacious could have showed you how to make it work with Monte Ellis and Stephen Curry. So
first Steve Kerr.
I just want to give my dog his flowers. We can move on to football if y'all have nothing else to add.
First Steve Kerr.
I would never Isaac, bro. We didn't have the pleasure of going to college together, but I'm pretty sure you had your boys that you played 2K with. Bro, dudes would look at Sedacious crazy. Niggas would be like, you playing with Golden State? And bro, it wouldn't take third quarter. They'd be done. They be like, bro, wait a minute. And he only using Curry and Monte. Oh my God.
No Clay.
Bro, he only using Monte and Steph, bro. And it's debatable on like how easy it was to shoot on 2K back in the day as opposed to it is now. But like, bro, clockwork. I'm like, bro, how is Curry? Bro, we've had our battles some nights. I own the house, Darnell, Sedacious own the house. We had our fair nights, but like when other dudes would come around, I just sit in the corner and wait. I'd be like, they have no fucking idea. But yeah, man. Sedacious knew about the Warriors before anybody, man. Other than Mark Jackson. But yeah, man.
Hey, before we move on, can I say one more thing real quick?
Got it.
About this. So it's just on the tail end of this. I think that us as a culture, we need to be careful with racializing everything. We really need to be careful with it, because bruh, sometimes you're gonna be on the wrong end of the racialization of stuff, right? That is going on right now in our culture. I see it on, the Twitter fights with people, and it just stop it. I mean, you got to be careful with it, right? We got to be careful with it. I understand we want to be black and proud. I'm with it. I'm black and proud. I'm with that. But sometimes we got to just chill out, because if once everybody else starts doing it, we might not come out on top. We might not come out on top. That's all I gotta say.
So
Right
this is a
on, man.
message. This is a message for y'all, America, because we don't want y'all to feel like he's talking to us. He's talking to y'all because y'all are outlandish out there, and y'all need to get a handle on that shit. For real. Like, whatever is racial, and we have the evidence that it's purely racial driven, then we can shine light on that. But if it's other shit that we reaching on, stop fucking reaching.
Right on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, and there you have it. This is what we call the Respect the Game podcast, man. Because we're gonna give you multiple different takes and multiple different perspectives that's gonna help you respect the game. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Episode next week may be more heavy, it may be lighter, who knows? But you can rest the goddamn sure. The episode is gonna make you respect the game. Catch y'all next week.